Hi, in this video, I take a look at some Bach inventions and a minuet to show how he uses three different types of minor scales and how to identify them. This is a video I made for my theory class, but I thought you might enjoy it as well. Please like, share, and subscribe if you find it helpful, and let me know if you have other theory questions that you would like me to answer in a future video. All right, let's get started. All right, in this example, we can see that we have a key signature of two sharps. So we have a choice of either D major or a B minor. But we can see through these A sharps that these are a raised seventh, creating a leading tone in B minor. Now, in this section of the piece, this is a consistent A sharp, and we don't see any other accidentals. So this is a solid harmonic minor. Now you'll notice that over here there are no A sharps, okay, and that hints at what is to come. Down here that's circled in green, this is moving towards D major, which is the other key that can be associated with B minor. And because these two keys are related, it's very easy to switch back and forth between B minor and D major. And the lack of the A sharps in this section is leading us into D major. So now listen to this example. All right, for this example, we have a B flat in the key signature. So our options are F major or D minor. And the existence of the C sharps indicate, again, a leading tone in D minor. Now, all through this, you can see we have no other accidentals, so this first system is clearly harmonic minor only. What's interesting is that Bach addresses the awkward augmented second in the ascending harmonic scale by offsetting this C sharp by an octave and turns it into part of the motif. So instead of going from B flat to C sharp and having that augmented second, instead we have a drop that sounds like A major sixth and then back up again. And then he continues that motif throughout using other notes. All right. As I mentioned in the other example, after we get past the first system, and this is actually the top of the next page. The first system is at the bottom of the first page, and then this is the second system is the top of the next page. And you'll see that all the accidentals have disappeared. There's no more C sharp, so we are working only in the natural minor, and the natural minor has no changes at all from the related major. So in this section, it can easily switch over to F major, which it does. And when you hear me end the playing example down here on two Fs, then you will hear that that sounds like we've arrived at a cadence. So it does switch over to F sharp here. To F major here. Again. All right, in this example, we have a key signature that has no sharps or flats. So our choices are A minor or C major. And you'll see again, we have a G sharp, which is a leading tone in A minor. So we start off solidly in A harmonic minor because there's only a G sharp, no other accidentals. But you'll notice that the G sharp disappears at the end of the first system, and we are moving into C major. So again, it's very easy to switch between natural minor and the related major. Now, those are the first two systems of this invention. There's a lot that happens in the middle. But this last system that I'm showing on the screen is the last system of the piece. And here we not only have G sharps, but we also in green, you'll see that I've highlighted F sharp, G sharp, and A. So here we have a very brief example of the melodic minor being used, and that is bringing more intensity leading into the final cadence of the piece. In the violet, you see an F natural, and a G natural, and you'll see that that is because it's not going up to the A, it's turning right back around and going down to the F. So there's your natural minor descending. The G sharps then return, and what's circled in blue is an interesting thing that we're going to talk about later on, which is a descending diminished 7 chord, and then the D sharp that is marked with purple in the last measure is also something we will be talking about later, which basically acts like a leading tone into that final E, which is the dominant of the A. So we end solidly in A minor with a strong pull with the leading tones and all these other things that were incorporated into the last system. All right, and now I will play the example. I will play the first bit, and then I will play the last system. So I'm going to skip all the stuff in the middle in the invention. All right, this example is from the beginning of invention number 11, and you can see in the key signature we have 2 flats, so our choices are B flat major or G minor, and you can see right away in the first 4 notes that that is an ascending melodic minor. You have the E and the F sharp leading into the G, which are the raised 6th and 7th scale degrees of the G minor. So right away, we know we're in G minor. And this whole section is a pretty straightforward example of melodic minor. In the yellow, all those notes marked in yellow are ascending melodic minor, and all the notes in green are descending melodic minor. And after this opening section, there's a lot of different stuff that's happening, moving to different keys and so forth. So I didn't continue to mark it, but just this section can show you a little bit of how the melodic minor is used. This first section of G, it's a little bit longer because it doesn't go straight down through the natural minor descending. It kind of mixes everything together with some chromatic movement, G to F sharp to F natural to E natural, and then a little bit up and down, and then E natural, E flat, D. So eventually you get all of those natural minor notes through there. So this is a pretty interesting example, and now I am going to play it, and I'm only going to play it up to the start of the last measure in this example on the screen.